We'll get started. Everyone have a great weekend. Good. There's so much happening, like good and bad stuff. I just had our legacy culture call, and Shannon said, I know there's been a lot of crazy stuff happening. It's been Mercury retrograde, but I just really want to focus on the good stuff. And I'm like, girl, I already made sure to cut out the bad stuff out of my update. I only talked about the good because it's happening over here too. So you just get to that point, right? I love the hair color, Nikki. So does everybody have the goal planning worksheet?
Yes.
Okay. The one for this week that is aligned and activated?
No, I don't. Where do I find it?
Let me see if I can add it to the chat. I've never added anything to the chat before, so I'm not sure I even know how to do it.
I can grab the link from the email she sent us.
Oh, yeah, that would be awesome. Thank you. I'll
Okay.
still try and see if I can add it. Oh, there it is. I think that's adding okay, so from my computer, but it doesn't want to do that. But I can add it to my Google Drive really quick too. It was so funny when I got it. I was like, this looks like I used, like I like put this together. Like I'm confused. Is this mine or is this hers? So I got the link and I'm dropping the link in the chat for the aligned and activated. That's the theme. We're going to revisit goals, realign your energy, and activate your next bold move. Okay. This is important. I've been talking to my clients and my audience a lot about this. And the reason I have is because we are at the mid-year point, right? So June was the 6th month. We're now in the 8th month. And so we are getting ready to head into the 4th quarter. And we're approaching halfway through the 3rd quarter already, right? So has anybody set quarterly goals? Okay, anybody want to share any of their quarterly goals? You're welcome, Sandy.
I haven't. Oh, thank you. You're welcome.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's okay. It's okay. So when it comes to goal setting, I'm going to share what I do because I've always been a very goal oriented gal, right? Like goals have been my thing. Back in early in my career, I worked at a company that paid these consultants, and everyone was like, "Your motivation is goals," right? So I've always been very goal oriented and goal driven. So I always create a vision and a mission for my business, just overall. And then this time of year for me, honestly, I am beginning and planning for 2026. That comes from my corporate background, right? I've had to catch myself several times from speaking on 2026 and saying, "Oh, it's 2026. Why are we still doing this?" Because I have to remember I'm typically 18 to 24 months out ahead of everyone else. That's just my personality as someone who carries a lot of vision. Okay. And so I'm already thinking about and planning for 2026. So what I do is I tend to begin looking at trends and knowing what's going on and begin some kind of predicting what's going to be happening so that I am ahead of the curve, not trying to keep up and catch up. Right. And so I have my vision, I have my mission, and everything needs to align with my vision and my mission. Notice the two letters that came before vision and mission. MY, mine. Not a guru's, not a coach, not a friend, not a siblings, not a parent's. My vision and my mission. I want to stress that because I see a lot where we get in these masterminds, and I'm not speaking just strictly polka dot, right? I'm speaking in general. We get in these masterminds, we get in these cohorts, we get in these groups, we work with these coaches, consultants, and gurus. And hi, my name is Tamira. I am a coach and consultant. I just started rolling. I didn't even introduce myself because some of y'all I don't know. So we'll do that in a second. Okay. And we lose who we are. We lose sight of what we want for ourselves, for our businesses, right? And so that's why I love this theme of aligned and activated, because I was confused, because I'm like, I've been talking about this. Did I create this, or is this from her? Is this her agenda, right? So if you don't know me, my name is Tamira Hamilton. I have 32 years. Is it 30? No, it's 33 now. 33 years of sales, marketing, and leadership experience. I've worked with Fortune 500 companies and brands, many whom are we got a big group today, many of whom are household names and brands that you are very familiar with and have either visited, flown, or used in your home. I, by day, am a digital marketing strategist. I help my clients get more visibility and get the right messaging so that they can convert more of the audience and communities that they build. Yes, we are talking aligned and active, and I dropped the Google Drive link to it. You should be able to access it. I made it available to anyone with the link.
No, the chat only shows when you joined, so it's not in
okay, so I will add it again.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, so alignment begins and ends with your mission and your vision, right? And at the center of everything, if you look at it as a bull's eye, right? At the center of everything is your ideal client, your ideal customer, and everything needs to be in alignment with your vision and your mission of who it is that you serve and how you serve them. Okay? If you are not clear, I want you to understand something that's happening right now. I'm completely freestyling, right? I'm not going from a presentation. I'm not going from slides. I know what I know, and I'm sharing what I know with you. Okay. And so alignment is you being able to get up every day and have passion and joy in what you do, because at the center, the nucleus of it all, the bullseye, is your perfect ideal client or customer. And everything that you do in your business is centered on that one individual. Okay. On Friday, I posted a funny little TikTok. And if your family is from the South, both sides of my family are from Mississippi, you'll understand the audio, because the audio is something like my grandmother and Alvastine and somebody else's grandmother were sisters. And that makes Alvastine and whoever else my cousin. And it sounds like this old Southern Black lady, right? And on the screen, I said, this is what it sounds like when I ask a new client of mine who is their perfect ideal client. Because they're telling me everything but what I need to know to help them get more conversions, right? And so you have to really know not only who your ideal client is and how you serve them, but what are their triggers? What is going to make them buy? What is going to motivate and inspire them to click that join now button, that buy now button, that payment link to work with you? Is everybody clear on that? Okay, it's so important. That is the beginning. That is the alpha and the omega. If you don't get that step right, your messaging is going to be off no matter what your goals are. So as we begin to set your goals today, I need you to have that in mind. What I work with my clients is we really develop who their ideal client is. We give them a name, and we used to go and we used to search for Google images. Now we can actually have AI create a face for them and what they look like. Okay. Because your goals, I cannot stress this enough. If your goals are not centered around that ideal client, everything, to quote The Color Purple, one of my favorite movies, everything you even think about is going to fail. to be dramatic about it, right? So as we begin to set your goals, just know that your ideal client needs to be at the center of it. That is, and I know many of us, Jen, Val, Trish, we are heart-centered entrepreneurs. What we are here to do is to serve, okay? And so that's why it's important that you know who you are and who your ideal client is, so that if you end up in the hands of a shady guru, a shady mindset person, a shady master. I see some of y'all smiling and sipping tea. Y'all know what I'm talking about. They cannot stray you. They cannot sway you because you know who you are and you know who you serve. Okay. So when we talk about being aligned and activated, as I was getting into before I went all off, your annual goal needs to be broken down into quarterly. Okay. So if you don't have quarterly goals, I want you to quick right now, I'll give you a few minutes, quick right now, go back and review your annual goal. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your annual goal and you're going to divide it into 4, because that's why it's called a quarter. A quarter is 1/4. Okay. So divide that by 4. That is your quarterly goal. And to figure out where you should be at the end of this third quarter, take that number that you just got by taking your annual goal and dividing it by 4 and multiply it by 3. And that will tell you where you should be at the end of this quarter. Okay. And then from there, you're going to take where you are as of today, as of this moment, or whenever you last checked, and you're going to divide that by where you're supposed to be at the end of this quarter. Y'all didn't know I was so analytical, did you? Y'all didn't know I was so numbers driven, did you? Don't let the hair fool you. What we're now calculating is your tracking. Are you on track to meet your third quarter goal? Okay. So I'm going to give you, it's 12/12. Can I give you the 12/15 to figure that out? Because that's going to dictate all the rest of what we're doing. And if you need longer, let me know. If you need to 12/20, just say so. Come on with your mic or in the chat and let me know. But I want you to figure that out. Because this is what I work with my clients on. And when I was in corporate, what I worked with my salespeople on, we got to put our business hats on. Many of us are very, very heart-centered, and we're a little weak on the business side. And this is the business stuff. It's a little more masculine, but we need both the masculine and the feminine to win, right? In balance. And so we have to know where we are. You should know where you are on any given day. Because you can also take your annual goal down and you can break it down to monthly, you can break it down to daily, you can break it down to hourly to know every single day, this is how much you need to make on a given day. This is how many people you need to talk to on a given day. This is how many, sales or closes you need to make on a given day. I use Notion to see where I'm at on each goal at any given point in time. Love it. Awesome. If you feel comfortable and you have the the legal rights to, feel free to share that template in the chat. That number that you come up with in the end is going to be your percentage of tracking, how close you are to your goals. So think about those fundraising campaigns where they have the thermometer and they're coloring and filling it in. That's kind of what you're doing right now, is your percentage of tracking. Are you on pace or not? I feel so far behind because I have been in so many transitional phases and never really stopped to figure out goals. Admittedly, it's been a lot of survival mode and big personal growth. Thank you for sharing that, Nikki. And you can make a goal from now until the end of the year. You can, and sometimes when you're in survival mode, your goal might just be for the week. It might be for the day, and that is okay. Jen has her hand raised.
I do. I just I do project management, vision to strategy to action all day long with my corporate job. I have for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
I have a very neurodivergent brain, and so sometimes like this sort of math does not work for my brain. And I just want to let you know, like if your brain is kind of like bleh, there are other ways to do something very similar.
Thank you for sharing that. And I think that's the key. Goals are very personal. And so you have to work out how you come up with them and how you measure them yourself. But don't feel behind. You are exactly where you're supposed to be at this moment and right now, and whatever mistakes or whatever mishaps or whatever has happened was what it didn't happen to you, it happened for you, and it's part of your journey and your story, and you might not even see why that happened to you yet, but it will be revealed at some point. Okay, so we've done the math. Anyone want to share their percentage of tracking onto, and there are people who could be at 100% because you could have blown second quarter and first quarter out of the park, right? You could have blown them out of the park. So you could be at 100% or more, but most people are not at 100% because we're not even at the end of third quarter. We're just barely coming up on halfway through third quarter. Okay. So anyone want to share? Because I'll be honest with you, I'm not at 100% right now. I'm not there. I made a big, hairy, audacious goal, and I got a lot of traction and wind behind my sails, but I'm not there, and that's okay. Anyone want to share?
I on track in terms of cash, in terms of sales, but the other flip side of that, I wanted to get the number of clients down in my bookkeeping business while keeping the income up. So I still have some adjusting to do with, the number of people versus their the monthly rate.
I like that. I like that. So to do that, typically that means you have to increase your pricing. Have you done that?
Yes, and I have done it a little bit, but I also have a few clients that are going to be dropping off. So I'm
Okay.
going to need to backfill them with someone maybe higher. So like if I can charge more with the new person that takes up, say, 5 people, you can
Yes,
kind of rearrange
exactly.
the workload is really what I'm trying to do.
Exactly. I get that there are neurodivergents here. Um, and present, and everyone is a little different, but it always boils down, I think that's my neurodivergency, everything in life boils down to a mathematical formula, in my opinion, right? It's just how you come up with that. And typically if you want to work with fewer clients, I mean by default you've got to raise the roof, raise the price. Okay, anyone else want to share? Okay,
I'll go.
go ahead,
So,
Trish.
sorry. I got married this year. Many of you probably know that. And it's like my business took a nosedive. I'm like, it's been somewhat steady, but not nearly like it was last year. Like, I blew in like the first month and a half of the year last year, I hit my quarterly goal. This year, I'm like, did I hit my 6 month goal? It's like, it's just like that. So I'm a little, not apprehensive, what's the right word? Insecure about
Okay.
moving forward, reaching out to the new potential clients and all that. So I'm just like, I know what I'm doing. I've been doing it 18 years. I need like reminders and support from my new husband and stuff, but otherwise, like I'm looking at what Jen wrote and I'm like, none of that makes sense to me. Like that's my brain. I'm just like, what? So yeah, it's a challenging phase, but I'm glad I'm here.
Yeah, and I want you to remember too, Jen is coming from more of a project management standpoint, and I'm coming from more of a sales and marketing, analytics standpoint. We both have
Oh yeah,
decades of
because I have my
experience in what we
number.
do. Yeah,
I broke it down like my yearly, my quarterly, my monthly, my weekly, my daily. I'm nowhere near it. Like
yeah,
I'm nowhere near it. Like
yeah.
zero. So
And to
that's
go
all.
back to Nikki,
That's all.
sometimes I love that Jen has tasks, because there are times when it's not so much about the sales or the numbers. You just have to have faith and believe and know that if you keep doing the tasks daily, you keep doing the daily activity, the income producing activities, the sales are going to come, especially in an environment like where we're in right now, where there's a lot of instability, a lot of uncertainty, things that are beyond our control, governmentally, politically, so even technologically. There are a lot of things beyond our control. And so what I do to keep my nervous system calm during those times is I focus on the tasks, because I have full faith and credit that if there is a bottleneck in sales, we call it a bottleneck in my pipeline, where it's just jamming up, kind of like, think of like a pipe that's got a clog in it. Eventually that clog is going to get pushed out because of all the activity. All the activity is my Drano. That's how I unclog, is I just keep pumping more and more, and eventually something is going to loose. And then that's where I can have like a June. Like June was through the roof, and June is typically a quieter month. So there's no right or wrong. The key is, are you measuring, right? And my philosophy is, what gets measured gets done, right? If you're not measuring it, it's not getting done. So if what I come across a lot with my clients is, sales isn't getting done because they're not measuring it. They're focused on everything else, and sales is not just closing. Sales is actually daily activities. If you do certain activities every day, you will be able to generate sales. So all right, so now let's look at the theme. So the first thing is, are you still on the right track, right? And so we've measured your percentage. Now I want you to reflect and recalibrate. Which goals still feel aligned? And when I say aligned, your mission, your vision, your values, your ideal client, with your oomph, with what makes you get out of bed every single day. Okay. Because one thing I have learned, when I feel frustrated, when I feel overwhelmed in my business, is because I'm listening to everybody else more than I'm listening to my inner star player. And I'm out of alignment with what it is that I am called to do, who I am called to serve, and how I am called to serve them. That is where the misalignment typically is happening. And I have to do some recalibration. So I'm interested to hear from some of you, from a few people, in how do you recalibrate when you feel misaligned? I'll go first and share. One of the things I often do is I go back and look at some of my old content, because it not only helps me remember that I am a content genius and I'm damn good at what I do, but it actually inspires me, right? If I'm putting out the right content, it's going to inspire me. And if it inspires me, it's going to inspire my ideal client. It's going to inspire others. If my content is not inspiring, and I can't sit here and lie, I ain't that much of a genius that 100% of what I put out is inspiring. I usually try to catch it before I put it out, but sometimes, we have to experiment. We have to try. And sometimes you go back months later, a year later, and you're like, oh, that just really didn't hit. That was just really kind of shitty. What was I thinking? Right. And so that's one of the ways that I recalibrate. I go back and I revisit my living document of who my ideal client is. Has she changed? Has she evolved? One of the things I notice with clients is they have an ideal client that someone else decided for them, I don't know how long ago, and they haven't revisited. If you haven't visited your ideal client and you live in these United States of America in these last 6 months, I'm not here to sell you, but you need to be talking to somebody and getting that revisited ASAP, because she has evolved in the last 6 months. Trust me. She is still evolving, because she does not live in a vacuum. And as things are changing and at a rapid clip like they are, she is evolving. The Canadians have too. Yes. The entire world. Yes. So anyone want to share your recalibration tips?
I can share.
Yes.
No one can knock in the room. I have a playlist that I listen to. It's called Heads Up, and I'm looking at it. I have lots of different music that makes me feel good when I'm in a moment of overwhelm. One song that I really love, it's called "Hold On, Change Is Coming" by the Sounds of Blackness. I listen to that all the time.
And that the original is from Sam Cooke.
Yeah. Oh, did she? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay, that's Sam Cooke song.
Yeah, it's based from Sam Cooke. Yeah.
And so I listen to that in moments just when I'm working, that I'm like, I just need like a little pick me up. And so I put that list on, and I always feel a little bit better.
I love that. I love that. Music is grounding, right? Music can ground you. It can uplift and inspire you. I love that. Okay, I need somebody else to share, because now I'm getting all the feels. I'm getting all giddy inside.
I have one. So I jokingly say I collect stories of older women doing super cool shit, no matter their age, oftentimes for the first time. And I have like my collection of stories and, you know, my Pinterest board of super cool older women. And that brings me like it. I just even have to think about it. It brings me right back to my why, my mission, my purpose, all of that.
I love that, because I see that as being ideal client centered. You're going right back to your ideal client and in their natural habitat, as I call it.
Yeah. Help women be like that super cool lady, if that's what you want.
Yeah.
80s, 90s, beyond.
I love that. So inspiration, where can you find inspiration and get back in tune with one, your star player and your ideal client? Okay. So which goals still feel aligned? Which ones feel heavy, forced, and outdated? We talked about that. What am I doing because I should versus what I want? So there is a prompt. If I started fresh today, I would focus on, so go ahead and fill that out. And we are making really good time, even with all my yabbering. Or is it jabbering? Jibber jabber. So I'll say it again if you don't have the worksheet in front of you. The prompt is, if I started fresh today, I would focus on. Another one that I love that I'm going to ad lib and add, if I could not fail, what would I focus on? If failure was not even on the table, not an option, what would I do? I also love to, whether it's God, source, the universe, whoever it is, that if you do believe in something higher or out there, I just ask, what would you have me do? What would you have me do? Okay, so I'm looking for signals that we are ready to move on. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Y'all ready? All right, next we are going to activate, choose one bold move. And that is why I love the question, what would you have me do? And if I could not fail, if failure were never an option, not on the table, what would I do? Because that usually helps me with my one bold action. Okay. So according to the worksheet, a bold move should be specific, slightly uncomfortable, aligned with your future vision, and possible within 30 days. Declare one aligned, needle moving goal for August to help you get back on track if you are not on track, or keep you on track, or increase the momentum of what you have experienced so far this year, so that you finish the year strong, finish third quarter strong, and fourth quarter. Okay. Because I'm going to divert here for just another second. I'm going to preach. In case you didn't know, my granddaddy was a Baptist pastor, and my other granddaddy was a Baptist deacon. So it's in my blood, okay? Fourth quarter is made now. Y'all know that, right? What happens in fourth quarter is really between first and third quarter. First through third quarter, lay up and set the foundation for what happens in fourth quarter. And it's not too late. It is absolutely still plenty of time. Okay. So as we declare these bold moves, what decisions are you avoiding? What action would move the needle, even if it feels stretchy? Where is your intuition telling you to go next? And I'm going to be honest with you, it's usually in the shit that I am avoiding doing and don't want to do. The content queen really doesn't like one-to-one contact. Now, she will do it because she knows it's necessary, but I will real easily find myself in just the content creation loop to avoid talking to people, because people are not mildly, like overwhelmingly surprised. When you look up introvert, there's my rainbow-haired ass sitting in my moo-moo on a couch sipping tea, minding her own business and enjoying her solitude, right? So it's usually that bold move is in the shit that I am avoiding and don't want to do. What about you? Tell me, talk to me. Hardcore introvert. I know, that's why we bond, girl. So write those prompts out and talk to me about your bold move. Is it something that you've been avoiding, don't want to do, don't enjoy doing? You know, for me, it's usually I put it off. And then once I do it, it's like, that was easy. What was you tripping about? Y'all quiet. I see Becky, Samantha. MJ is here. That's a gorgeous picture, MJ. My girl Val, Milwaukee in the house. I don't think there's Diane, I think, is the only person on here that I don't know. I can't get any bolder at the moment. That launching on Wednesday. I can't get any bolder at the moment than launching on Wednesday.
Like my boldness is like, it's at like peak capacity. But I'm saving this for later when it kind of takes a dip again.
Yeah. Yeah. And one thing I find, because I'm a very bold and audacious person, I don't like to push on bold for too long. I have to remember to soften it back up. Right? So you have to know yourself and your cycles, because I can be very intense and that will intimidate and scare a lot of people. Yes, Nikki.
So it's funny, I just got off a call with someone to talk about website stuff, because I think I need to up level my selling method, because right now all of my sales are through Facebook Messenger, and I'm like, wow, I'm kind of sick of doing that. So like, people have asked me like, oh, so we can buy on your website, right? And I'm like, not right now. So we're right there. We're right there. And I'm like, oh yeah, I need a better way.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at options, but that's the goal for August, is to have a more streamlined online selling the platform service. I don't know the word.
A process. It's a system.
It's a process. Yeah.
It's a system. Yeah. You need automation. E-commerce without automation, and I'm going to say it in 2026, because it's really 2030. In 2026 is, if you want to be successful, you have to have that. It's non-negotiable, right?
I know. I'm surprised I got as far as I did.
Yeah.
With what I'm doing, but I'm like at the point where I'm like, this is a lot. I can't do it all by myself.
Right.
Now, so,
right.
Yeah, I need.
And so it's imagining, if I've been able to do all of this without it, imagine what's going to flow once I have it in place. What is the benefit? One of the things that I work with clients in terms of sales strategy right now in their messaging is, you got to be reminding your ideal client the danger, the risk of the status quo. Right? And so you have to do that to yourself. What is the danger? What is the risk? What am I missing out on by not having this in place, and let that be your motivation and inspiration to move forward with the bold,
Yeah, how much
the
it
old
costs
action.
to not have that.
Exactly. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else?
I can share a little bit.
Okay.
For me, it's around releasing more of my content. I have a ton of content and videos and audios and all these things that I've done and releasing them, and combining that with some money investment into advertising. So I have someone who can support me with that. I just haven't I've been sort of tiptoeing around the tulips a little too much. And so August is time to jump into the garden.
It is the perfect time.
And just to see what happens. Like an
Yes.
experiment.
Congratulations for
Thank you.
acknowledging that and taking the bold action and beginning to do that. From an advertisement standpoint, August and September are prime, really good months to get that going, because your advertising cost is going to go up per click, per lead, beginning in October and incrementally through December. Because there's going to be more competition for it, and you're going to be competing with more of the big brands during those months as they gear up for Black Friday through the holidays.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Super helpful.
Very, very welcome. Anyone else? Because we are very, very good on time. Yeah, August and September are really great months. I would say through like mid-October, and then from there, you know, your cost per click is going to go up. And when you work with someone like me, I can help you to kind of put a weight on it to hold it down. There are some different strategies and things you can do to try to put a weight on it. But you're like, I will tell you, advertising the week of Black Friday, baby, you gonna pay a lot. You're not going to get a lot of reach, because you're going to be competing with the big dogs. You know, like that. I always think in sound bites, she don't want no puppy, she want a big dog.
Can you just repeat what you said about the danger of the status quo? I want to add that into my talks that I'm giving this month. I think that really,
right now, what's really going to trigger and move your ideal client is you have to remind them the danger of the status quo. If they make no changes, it's like this. If you're unhappy, right? If you're unhappy, but you're not willing to do anything about it, I can't fucking help you. Right? You got to first be willing to help yourself. You got to first be willing to take that bold move. If you're not happy with the status quo, how do you expect the status quo to change? Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. For something to change, something's got to change. So you have to remind your client the risk of the status quo, of not making any changes, of not taking that leap. You know, if you're just running around on a gerbil wheel, you're going to keep running around on a gerbil wheel until you take a stick and you put it through one of the spokes and make it stop, or you hop off. You got to take a risk. You got to do something. You got to do anything. Got it? All right, so now we're going to create your activation plan. So you're going to break the bold move into 3 simple action steps or habits. So in this example, bold move, launch my new offer. Number 1 would be to finalize your offer and price. 2 would be to outline your email campaign. And 3 would be invite 3 people personally. And I'm going to tell you 3 is bare minimum. I would say 10 to 20. That's bold, that's swift, that's intense. We are in an era where you cannot really afford to be anything less than intense right now. It's going to take more to get the same. It's going to take more effort. It's going to take more insight. It's going to take more contacts. It's going to take more content. No, I'm not encouraging you to burn out. I'm anti hustle. Right? For me, I tend to do a lot more of the metaphysical. I can't believe I admitted that out loud. I tend to do a lot more of the metaphysical and the spiritual during times like this and really focus more on my mindset and who I am being, what I am embodying to attract more to me. That tends to work better for me and my health, and which both mental and physical health is included in that, than the constant push, push, push. Does that make sense? Now, you still got to take action though. I ain't never going to lie to you and tell you that it's just the woo. You still got to take action. You still got to take a step toward it. You might have to take 5 steps toward it. So you still have to take your action. But I have a lot more clarity on what those actions are by really getting back in tune with my star player, my inner star player, and who it is that I serve and how I serve them. So that's why this was all kismet. This was supposed to be me doing this goal setting session today. Okay. So go ahead and fill in those 3. You probably don't even have enough room to fill it in on those 3. But when you get to the invite 3 people personally, I'm going to say bump it up to 5 and write those 5 names out. Write those 5 names down. And I want you to contact them today. I'm going to give you a secret. Make as many contacts as early in the week as possible, especially during the summer months. Right? And make them as early in the day as possible. Even if no one responds, they will see them later and they will respond. Right? I have a background in direct sales and network marketing, but overall over 30 years of sales marketing and leadership experience. And in direct sales and network marketing, when companies have promos, there are people who always blow it out of the water when there are promos. And there are people who always sit on duds when there are promos. Do you know why that is? Because they haven't been making the contacts on a day-to-day basis. They have not put enough people into their quote unquote funnel, because sales funnels, there's automated sales funnels, and then there's just, the theoretical sales funnel, right? So I'm going to give you an example. When you go to Disney World, who's here has been to Disney World or Disneyland? Right. When you get to Disney World in Lake Buena Vista, there's a long drive. You go through this beautiful, colored gate, and you go through, and there's a long drive. And then it's almost like you're on, because it's a massive property. And so you're driving and you're following the signs to whichever of their parks you are going to, right? Once you go through that, welcome to Walt Disney World, you are in a sales funnel. You know that, right? The sales funnel begins when you go through that gate. Then you get to parking. That's part of the sales funnel. Then you get to the turnstile, and now you scan your phone, your little thing from your phone. That's part of the sales funnel. And everything in there is designed. They know that most people go right because most people are right-handed. So they know, and I know this because I worked with Disney. They know that most people go right? So you get there, and when you get through Magic Kingdom, and you go down this main drag of Main Street, right there at the end, before you go through the little promenade thing, is a Starbucks. That's not by accident. That is part of the sales funnel. And then on the other side of the promenade is Magic Kingdom. And that's where you kind of start the day, not Magic Kingdom, the castle, Cinderella Castle. And then you shoot out from there. But everybody ends up back at the same spot, which is Cinderella Castle, which is back on your way out, right? And when you get off of at MGM Studios, the Rock and Roller Coaster, if they still have that, what do you go through? The gift shop. That is a sales process. If you have a direct sales, network marketing background, the hotel meeting is a sales funnel. That whole design of that meeting is a sales funnel. Okay. So if there's a promo, buy one, get one free for this week, and come Friday, you don't have sales, is because you are just now starting to contact people. And so they're sitting there. They're not going to, they don't have enough contact. You have to contact people. Guess how many times? You need to contact people to get a sale. Trish says 5. 7 says Nicole.
23. I think it's gone way up.
It's gone way up. It's 17 if money is not an issue. It's 17 if money is not an issue. Right? And a contact doesn't mean you have to, when we say 23 touch points, that doesn't mean it always has to be you reaching out to them. It can be content. It can be a lot of different things but it's at least 20, 17, 23. Some people even say 28. And 28 is based on 2011 data. Okay. So it's great that if there's a promo, you're making contact today. You're setting yourself up for the next promo or the promo after that, realistically. Now, you might get some that really like you and they do it because they like you or they feel sorry for you. But it's really about a contact sport. So I like to make as much contact as early in the week and as early in the day as possible. Then that way they hear it, they read it, they see it, however many ways I contact them, and then they will reply usually by the end of day. And even, I'm going to give you a tip for Facebook Messenger. Even if they don't reply, I still keep messaging them until they tell me to stop. Because some will eventually say, I'm so glad you keep reaching out. Keep reaching out. I'm not ignoring you. I haven't forgotten about you. My rule is I email, I contact until they buy, die, or unsubscribe. Tell me no. Okay. So have we completed this journal prompt? All right. So all the rest, we got 13 minutes to share. What your bold move is. And how you've broken it down into your action plan. Your 3 steps or habits. And we are in a time where personal contact is very important. My youngest cousin, his daughter graduated from high school in June and she's leaving for Jackson State University next week. So they had our trunk party and it coincided with her 18th birthday. I was outside a lot in July. So I really am good to be in the house for about 40 months. But because he reached out to me personally on Friday and said, don't forget, he must have known. He said, don't forget. And he's my baby. I'm the oldest grandchild. He's the youngest. I committed. I had to go. And I'm glad I did because I got to see my grandson kick some major ass at kickball, playing with all adults. Right. So personal contact is really, really important. Some people are not going to do it until you have personal contact with them. I just want you to know that. All right. So who wants to share?
I'll share. I've been inspired. Thank you all. So I've got 4, possibly 5 talks this month because some of them are to my networking groups. But now I'm inspired. Like I am really going to go whole hog on what's the danger if you don't do this? Because me personally, some of you might not know, I downsized 97% moving from Chicago to Colorado. So I'm just like, oh, I missed nothing. But I say that not to make people feel like, holy shit, but to just be like, if you want to do 10%, I got you. If you want to do 50 and downsize from your, I've lived in a 40 years home to a new small place or even a condo. But now I'm going to be like wanting to inspire them to figure out their own why. Like, what if you don't do this? How much do you want to live in this overwhelm of all this stuff around you and the chaos that your brain feeds you of? What am I going to do first? That sort of thing. I can't wait to talk now. One of them was Wednesday morning, and now I'm like,
yeah. And get specific. Like, use their words. I don't want to say against them because you're really not using them against them, but use their own words. what do they tell you it feels like, and use those words. Also, you just want to keep, because like for me, I just I can't think, I can't do anything. Like I'm a rage. I will rage clean because I just can't stand all that clutter and stuff around me, right?
The same thing. I'm like, I have to clear the table.
This
before I
this
can
got to
start
get
work.
cleared up, right? Because I can't, my mind is just like ping pong, like everywhere. So I got to get that before I can do anything. I got, like, before this morning I had the legacy call on this, I had to cleanse my workspace because like I got to have clean, organized workspace. I'm the same way when I cook. My kids knew growing up, mom will not, if you want her to feed you, that kitchen better be clean, because she is not cooking in a dirty kitchen with dirty dishes. Not happening.
My kids don't get that at all. I'm like, teenagers! But thankfully, I saw a friend who owns a coffee shop, and she's like, oh my God, my teenager. I'm like, oh, thank God. Thank you for the reminder that it's just not my teenager being an asshole. It's all of them.
Yeah.
That helps.
Thank you for sharing, Trish, and I'm happy you are inspired. Who else wants to share? Who's been inspired by Trish being inspired? And let's hear from someone we haven't heard from. Some of y'all quiet today. Katie, yay, my girl, Katie.
Hello, I've been quiet today. My big move is inventory, so dealing with my inventory. I'm a reseller, if nobody knows me, so I have a lot of like thrifted items. So the first step, I'm going to donate my stale inventory, stuff that I've had listed for a year or longer that hasn't sold yet. It's out. And then for this quarter, list 100 new items, and it might be even more than that. And that's the second step. And then third step is start labeling where the item is stored in my inventory system.
Oh,
so kind of
that's
creating a simple system so that
yes.
it's easy to find the things when I sell it.
Yes, I love systems, and I love when they're simple. I don't like even sale automated funnels. I try to keep them as simple as possible. So I love that. Great job. Thank you for sharing. Let's get one more. Someone else share, please. Let's do it, Nikki. I have some time this week. You? My Calendly only has some spots in 2 weeks. Do you have a link? Who else wants to share? Okay, Val. I thought I had saw your hand.
Yeah, I'm trying to be more quiet, believe it or not, ladies.
Girl, why? Why? No, why? That's not in alignment. Why? Especially with
Way
us.
too much time with family. The 3 habits or the 3 steps, I call them what you want. I make a 6 most important things list. I learned that in Mary Kay way back in the day, 35 years ago. And when the night before I write down those 6 most important things that I want to do or complete the next day, when I stay on with that, it keeps the distractions away because I'm a crow. I like to think of myself as a raven because they're a little more majestic, but something shiny comes along and I'm gone. I am. Or somebody like a client this morning should have been a 10-minute thing, but you could tell that she doesn't talk to a lot of people. And she's like, could you sit for a few minutes? Well, 20 minutes later, I had to make the excuse to leave. Yeah. I'd still be. So 6 most important things. I stick to my schedule, but I also schedule breaks. Because if I get on a content roll, I don't walk away, and I can be here for like 4 to 6 hours and my whole schedule's shot. And I've actually missed Zoom calls and everything because I'm on a roll and I don't look at anything and I ignore my phone. And I always like, the one thing I will be consistent, I like to reach out either with mail or online or a text or a phone call. And last week I was in Charlotte, North Carolina for the week. And internet was entertaining. So all of the calls, so anytime I got a break during the week, I made actual phone calls to clients. And I had 2 of them say, Val, is this really you? Yeah. Because they were so not used to hearing a non-recorded voice from people that they were shocked I picked up the phone and called them. And it was a nice shock for some of them. I hope. But, you know, we're so used to being technologically savvy, but I think sometimes people just want to hear a human voice.
Yes.
And I am in sales, and I'm really pushing hard this year. So even though I was supposed to be at a Mary Kay event, I sat in the audience during one of my classes, and I was actually texting back and forth with another client who's looking at Mary Kay as a career choice. Because I couldn't duck out, but the person next to me was, I'll take notes for you. You keep working. I mean, I thought that was great. That we had each other's back and that I could do this. And yeah, because how many of you like to get a phone call?
I don't really, but yeah, I'm weird.
Well,
but you have to know people's preferences.
You and I can chat online.
Yeah,
that works for us.
Exactly.
You know, last month my goal was to come over and see you with a bunch of women.
Mm-hmm.
And how that worked out,
right?
Because I didn't schedule it at that time that we met for coffee.
Right. Well, we'll get it scheduled.
Damn right we will.
We will.
Because changes are happening.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say.
Okay. Well, there are 3 things that I took away from what you said. Number 1, I just want to remind you, don't just contact your people when you want something from them. Right? One of my strengths is I notice when people disappear, and I will check up on them. Right? I will check up on them if I'm not seeing them. If I see them all the time online and suddenly I don't, I will check up on them. I notice when people go quiet. I notice if someone is usually very active on connects and things like that, and all of a sudden they're there, but they're quiet. They're not saying much. And I will check in on people, right? So don't just check in. Don't just contact people when you want something from them. Engage in their content regularly and check in regularly. Just saying hey, just seeing what's new with you, just saying hi. You will be amazed at how that moves the relationship forward. 2, the power of your voice. I love to use the voice message feature on Messenger when I know it's okay with the person, right? Or if that got a lot to say and it's better to do that than type up a bunch, right? I'll ask for permission. And sometimes just leaving that voicemail. Alana Feldman, who is a dot from California, she is awesome at 1 and 2. You will just regularly expect a message from Alana, just a quick, hey girl, just thinking about you, you're a rock star, I love you, smooches, have a great day, right? And that is such a beautiful thing to know and be able to expect from someone. And I love her for that, right? And it helps build and deepen that connection. And the 3rd thing is to know your people's communication preference. We talked about it. My preference is not phone calls. Will I do them? Yes. It's just not my preference. I'm more of a voice message, messenger, email type person. But will I do phone calls? Yes, scheduled with an end time.
And the other thing, that's exactly what I was going to say is, if you're going to do a phone call with somebody, determine how long you're going to chat, because anybody who's connected with me on here knows if I feel comfortable with you, I'm a talker.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't cut me off, we'll be talking until next Wednesday.
So I'm going to let a cat out of the bag. With someone like Val, you always have to begin the call with, I've only got a few minutes. I've got somewhere to go.
Yeah. I mean, I know that because and to anyone on here who's had to connect with me and it's cut short, it's because, and short for me is like 15 or 20 minutes. It's because I'm trying to hold that boundary and let people have their life and not take it away from them. And it's not doesn't mean, oh my God, I can't stand this person. It's just, I'm trying to be respectful.
Yeah.
Other people might be able to tell another story, and that's all I'm saying.
So yeah, and the thing is, people love working with busy people. So if you're starting out new, you're restarting, you're refreshing, Nikki, you always want to kind of pretend like you got a really full, and it's not pretending, you're not lying, it's metaphysical. You are manifesting booked and busy. So I'm really booked. Let me see where I can squeeze you in. Not my calendar is wide open. I'm booked, right? And with Calendly, I use Google Calendar. There are spots. People can only see certain spots on my calendar. So they, I look busy anyway. Okay. Well, this was good. It's 1:00. Thank you all. If you've got quick feedback, I'd love to hear it. Hopefully you found this valuable, inspiring. I have another call. You're welcome, Sandy.
Thanks, Tamira. You did a wonderful job.
Awesome.
Very inspiring and motivational.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you.
All righty. Thanks, guys. I'll see you around.
Bye.
Bye-bye.